how did this idea come about? Did the stop animation thing, is that first? The talk radio, workplace comedy? Like, how did it?
The first part was the idea for an animated interview show. And then the second idea was setting it at a public radio station. And the stop motion was something that Mike Judge brought up because he had already always wanted to do something in stop motion. And the more we talked about it, it just sort of felt very fitting for the world we were talking about creating, where these puppets, which are about a foot tall, there's like something very twee about stop motion, and they're so delicate. And it's something that like Zach and I sort of felt connected to of like they seem like they're sort of representing the world Zach and I have chosen to inhabit. And the other thing that we thought would just be that something about like the stop motion puppet interacting with the live action interview guests would look good.
Yeah, that's a really interesting concept. For those parts, how much the live guests, how much like context or information are they given ahead of time?
So very little. So they would hop onto Zoom, and I would talk to them before they talked to Zach. And all I would tell them is try to treat it like it's a real NPR interview. And you don't have to pretend to be anything. You don't have to pretend to laugh or feel offended, or unless you genuinely are offended, and then go for it. And then the image of the puppet would show up on their screen, and they would hear Zach in character as Lauren introduce them as if they're coming on the show. And then they would talk to that character for an hour. And we would not tell them anywhere where it's going to go. And we didn't know where it was going to go. We would prepare questions and we would have researched the guest, but nothing that happens is scripted.
Wow, you got some incredible reactions out of your live
We
guest.
got really lucky.
Yeah, it was really interesting. And I especially liked Fabian's pre-screen.
Oh,
Um,
yeah. That is the one that's written. That's the only one that's written.
okay. Well, it still comes across really, really well. It's a
Okay.
really, really nice thing to add in there. What exactly is yogurt wheat?
Yeah, so Yogurt Week, we had talked to Elise Hugh, who's a real NPR host at large, and she had brought a few colleagues, and they were giving us some background information on what it's like to work at NPR. And that was one of the things that she mentioned as like a fun thing that happens at NPR is there'll be a Yogurt Week. And we thought that was so interesting and funny that we ended up writing an episode inspired by it, by that. But that's a real thing that I think is just a fun thing they do at NPR to sort of keep morale up.
Wow, that's pretty amazing.
Yeah,
And comedic, so fits perfect for the show.
we felt very excited as soon as she mentioned that.
Yeah. What is a dream guest for you to get a live guest on In the Know?
Honestly, Mike Tyson was sort of a dream guest from the beginning. I think Zach and I have always been fascinated by him, and we think is a very complicated person. And we also just thought he's such an interesting juxtaposition with who Lauren is, that it would be really interesting to see what comes out when this Lauren character talks to someone like Mike Tyson. And it went so well. He was so playful and sort of willing to treat the puppet like it was a real person, even to the point of giving them like life advice. That in a way that was probably already our dream guest, but also I would say like all of our guests were people that we picked because in real life we find them fascinating and had watched a lot of their other interviews. And so yeah, I can't really like I'm trying to think of like there's a guest that we haven't already interviewed that would be probably there's a ton. I love basketball, so maybe a basketball player.
Oh, cool. Yeah, there's so many opportunities. You can go in a lot of different directions. There's just endless possibilities.
I think it's like with all these famous people who do so many interviews, they're all very media trained and can give very concise answers repetitively. And there's something fun about throwing them in for an hour with a puppet where it hopefully gives them an opportunity to reveal aspects of themselves they don't normally get to reveal in interviews.
Yeah, I can imagine it's fun for them too to
We hope so. Yeah. We hope that's
yeah.
part of the deal. Like everybody who said yes this first season was so brave because it was a show that did not exist and sounds kind of weird when you try to describe it. So we're very grateful that they gave it a shot. The one thing we also told them in the very beginning is the joke will never be on them, that the joke is always on the Lauren character.
On Lauren. Yeah. Okay. Great. It's a really great show. I enjoyed the 6 episodes so much, and I hope it continues, and I wish it great success.
Thank you. I appreciate
It
it.
was really nice talking with you.
Nice to talk to you too.